Hey everybody, this is Flavio Romeo, and on this episode of the Towncast, we had the chance to talk to Dave Shelton, award-winning writer, cartoonist, used to work for National Lampoon. He has children's books out. He is the Renaissance man. He does everything. And at the end of the episode, we play a song that he wrote and performed called "The Jersey Cool Is Gone." All right, enjoy the episode, everybody. All right, everybody. I'm so excited about this episode because we've got a Jersey boy on, and the amount, his resume, it's like 5 pages long, and I'm hoping to touch on a little bit of everything. But he's an award-winning screenwriter. He's a musician. He's a songwriter. He's a voice actor. He's a cartoonist who actually worked on National Lampoon, which was one of my favorite magazines growing up. He's released a best-selling book on his animation, on his illustrations. He wrote for Tiger Beat. He has a kids show. He wrote the theme song for the Special Olympics. It goes on and on and on. I am so happy to introduce Dave Shelton. Dave, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, it's no problem. All right. You know, that's a Jersey thing. We got to connect. And that resume thing, I never know how to pronounce that. Resume. Oh, go ahead.
It's a resume.
Yeah. Sure. Pasta resume. I love that. Pasta resume, one of my Italian dishes.
So tell me, where'd you grow up in Jersey?
Kind of like a few places. I was born in Passaic. My hospital's a parking lot now. And isn't there everywhere in Jersey? So, and then I lived in Lodi when I was a baby. I wound up sort of mostly in Good Lake and Montvale. And I spent most of the time in Montvale.
All right. So what high school did you
Or running away. I ran away a lot.
Did you really?
Yeah, I ran away to Hackensack. I don't know why, but
well, if I was growing up in Montvale, I'd run away to Hackensack too.
Probably too. No, it was good.
So where'd you go to high school? Where'd you graduate?
I went to Pasco Hills High School in Montvale, and I loved it. This was before they changed the name. We were after the Cowboys, and we played Pasco Valley, the Indians. Now everything is so friggin' sensitive. They canceled our name, made it like the Pasco Hills Pansy Boys, and I forgot what they named it, but this whole thing is ridiculous. I grew up like in the 70s going to high school there, and I loved that. The school was awesome.
And what year did you graduate?
76.
So I
was a bicentennial graduate.
Shout out class of 76.
Right. Except our family couldn't afford to go to the real boats, like for Operation Sail. So we basically had like a little mini thing, like a rowboat in my bathtub. And that's how we celebrate.
We used to take one of those toilet paper rolls and put a little toothpick with a paper sail and then let it go
we did that
down the gutter until it just got completely soaked, and then we just left it there.
Yeah, like we couldn't afford real football, so I made the ones out of paper, like the ones you use on the table.
Ooh, the little triangles? Yeah, no, where you kick the field goals?
Yeah, that's how I learned to play football. Except when I got to school, I was like, where's the table? Why is there a real field out here?
Yeah, it's going to take forever for this thing to get across to the end zone.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone's dropping passes, getting them in their eyes. I mean, it was horrible. I'm kidding though.
So you graduated class of 76, and where did you go to school after that?
Yeah, I went my first year to Trenton State, now called Crime U, and then I went to University of Florida and I studied film and journalism and communications.
Okay, so that's kind of what started leading you on the path that you went down.
So that and my love of just everything. I knew what I wanted to do when I was little. For like a second, I wanted to be a doctor. And then I got my paper cut and I said, I'm going to stick to film and TV where it's fake, and things like that. So
fake blood.
Yeah. was a lot safer because you could wash it off, and it wasn't delusional to me.
So
But
inspired
no,
you.
I always wanted to get into animation and voices and cartoons. I loved everything when I first saw it. I said, you know what, this is so cool. I want to be part of it. It was the same when, like you read, I was with National Lampoon. When I first saw Animal House, I was a sophomore over at University of Florida, and I pledged the fraternity. And yay, Phi Kappa Bros. And then I said, you know what? One day, and I read the magazine when it started coming out, and I said, you know what? Someday my dream job is to work at National Lampoon. And everybody has their friggin' dreams and things like that, and they're always dashed. But God said, you know what? I'm going to put you in a situation whenever. And I got the opportunity to work there when I moved to LA.
But see, it's interesting because it's also pursuit. I mean, they're not National Lampoon's not going to knock on your door saying, we've been going to door looking for you, and now that
Well,
we,
they did. When I had a subscription run out, they came to collect the money for it. But so they did technically knock on my door. But no, you have to make your own way. You can't just get it handed to you.
yeah, absolutely,
Unless you're like,
a Kardashian.
yeah, or Kardashian. Well, they got laid and stuff, basically, but or laid into it. Like Snooki, another Jersey story. But no, I just never been one to be lazy. I was raised to always go after things. And I think it's just part of my nature to go, you have to go out and get what you want, or it's not just going to magically come to your door.
Yeah. So after you graduate from Florida, you migrated back up to New York
To
area.
Jersey. Yeah, I
Okay.
went back to Jersey. I think then I moved either to Washington Township, Emerson, or my aunt's house in Park Ridge. I forgot where it was. But I stayed in Florida a little bit because I joined the circus. It's like you graduate college. What are you going to do? You're looking for work. So I had an opportunity. I did a lot of weird jobs while I was at college. I caddied on the PGA. I worked on a cruise ship. I was a clown at Ground Round. Remember that restaurant
Yeah.
in
The
like
Ground
Paramus?
Round.
And I was Chuck E. Cheese until I got my head cut open as Chuck E. Cheese, and I had to go to the hospital. And this then it became a plush situation. It was like all weird, and then I wound up in the circus because I'd always loved being a clown. And the Clyde Brothers, Clyde Beatty Cole Brothers Circus was touring Florida, and I auditioned for it. And I spent the whole summer touring with them as a clown and had clown groupies. It was awesome.
Oh,
And
cool.
then from there, I then went back to New Jersey and hung out there. And then I started looking for work, and I got jobs in New York. That's when I started writing. First, I was a reporter for the Ridgewood News.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then I was also the art director and did like all their color separations well before Photoshop and Illustrator. And hear that, all you lazy bastards out there using Photoshop. No, I love all that. I mean, that's made my life so much easier. That and word processing, so you could write in script writing software. But then I had an opportunity to work at MTV and Nickelodeon when they first started. I did artwork for them. I worked on Double Dare. And so I moved in the city for a while, and I studied special effects animation with Eric Shaper, who wound up becoming the guy who worked with Kevin Yeager and did The Crypt Keeper. So
Really?
I remember because in class, when our graduation project was to work with Tom Jones and to take all our thesis masks and go to Atlantic City and work with him.
You work with Tom Jones?
Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't really like sing with them or anything. It was a Halloween thing. And it was like we were there with the special effects stuff that they were using for the show.
Got you. So in other words, he was not your crypt keeper.
No, he wasn't. But
So
he was cool. He was a really nice guy.
so you worked for MTV, you worked for Nickelodeon, um, and I know eventually, and you're also writing for a lot of different magazines in New York, right?
Yeah, at the time you're saying, because I'd like to diversify. I learned early in school, like in film school, our professor would say, you know, when you're going to be working to make it, don't put everything in one basket, because you might have one gig as a writer or one gig as a cartoonist, but there may be a big blank space in between it when you're not working at all. So, and I found a talent for all of it, but maybe it was also the love that kind of nurtured it to become all that. So yeah, so I would do cartoons for something here, or I would do something there. And I went out and I brought my portfolio to Tiger Beat magazine, which fortunately was in Englewood. And the publisher was there, and Louise Barilli, she was the actual managing editor. What a nice chick she was. And she's actually, I forgot where she's living now, but Tiger Beat is still publishing. So I got hired then, and I wound up being a rock journalist for them, covered everyone from New Kids on the Block to the Grammys. It was when Debbie Gibson was big and Kiss was uncovered and things like that. And then Rockville magazine, which is the version of Playbill that puts out all of the Broadway magazines, they saw my work and asked me to work for them. So not only did I do interviews and photo work, but I was also a cartoonist for them. And I created cartoons illustrations for Tiger Beat. I created a comic strip called Toon Groupies, which I'm incorporating now into some other stuff that I'm working on. And then I did stuff for Woman's World, because the same publisher also in Englewood handled Woman's World. So it was really kind of cool. And they sent me to Washington to cover like this huge PETA event there. And a really quick side note is, while I was there covering it for them, there's a picture that was circulating of Ingrid Newkirk, who was the founder of PETA and me. And I mean, there were groups like Howard Jones and Boston and all the B-52s, and I got to hang with all of them. But this photo circulated and on the wire services, and they thought I was an activist with PETA. And I got followed by like all of these law enforcement groups, thinking I was just, going to raid someone or do a fashion show and spray paint on someone's fur or something. It was like crazy. The crazy 80s, I call them the crazy 80s.
Yeah, you have that activist look.
Oh, yeah. Can't you tell? I used to have a rap name named G-Rated. What does that tell you? It's like, I'm glad I don't have that anymore.
So you did all this, and then how is it that you went from Englewood out to LA?
Well, I wasn't living. I did live in Englewood for a little while, near that terrorist. Remember the one that bought that huge mansion, the one from Iran or whatever he was, the Shah of Englewood or something. And it was great. I loved living there because my roommate, one looked like Ringo Starr, was bipolar, and he took his medicine. The other guy wanted to be, I think, in politics, but I think he was cheating on his taxes or something. Oh, wait, he probably would have been a good politician then. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to move back. So I moved to Emerson, Washington Township. And then I got an opportunity to go to LA when I was working on Tim Allen and Robert Wall's specials for their HBO comedy show. And I was doing artwork for them. And that's when I said, you know what? Tim's people said, why don't you move to LA? Because, you're talented, you've got some, you have drive and things like that. And you don't give crap, and you don't take crap. So I packed up my Trans Am that I bought from my cousin, friggin' car investment ever. In Westwood, I was coming out of a movie, and I opened the door, and this guy came around the corner and took out the entire door. That was curse number one on the car. Curse number two, while I was driving across, I got mistaken for someone else's Trans Am that the highway patrol was chasing. And they said, hey, wait, there's another Trans Am with the same color. Let's just pull him over. Because they couldn't catch the other guy, and I got a ticket. So, really? Yeah. I told them, do I look like a big fat woman from Philadelphia with Pennsylvania license plates? I saw them walking by. She had her freaking hair up out of the wind. My hair's like under a hat. I had my cat
on your way out to LA?
Yes, in like Oklahoma or something. And then my cat wouldn't vouch for me, stupid bastard. It's like I go, come on, you're here with me. Tell them.
Never seen
Yeah.
this man before in my life.
Well, I could see him giving him catnip on the other side of the door. So my witness was bought off. What can I say?
So what were you doing for what kind of artwork were you doing for Tim Allen and Robert Wool?
Their promotional art, like the stuff you would see flashed on on the channel in prep, little poster work, things like that.
Very
Because I
cool.
was a cartoonist and I was also good at graphics. I did stuff for ad agencies. And so they were looking for, and I had worked with Zadora, and someone from there also referred me to them.
Yeah, see,
Remember
it's interesting. It's when opportunities come your way, you can either say yes or no. Yes, there's a term in improvisation called yes and.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
keep the conversation going, keep the work going, or you could say no and just kind of block it off, and then you don't
Right.
know what opportunities were behind that no.
That's
So
right. You can burn bridges or you can just keep going. So many people today, and I mentor some people, I teach screenwriting up in Morgantown and storyboarding. And I tell these people, I said, you're not going to sell a script in 5 minutes. I didn't. Took 7, but uh, more like 7 years. But I tell them, yeah, don't look an opportunity up because you never know. Because there's someone who may just be starting out that hires you for something, and they're going to be the next big producer. They're going to be the next head of a network, things like that.
well, it's the same thing. When you're an actor and you do a show, you may not necessarily like the show or like a director, but always work to your best potential because you never know who's going to be there. You never know who's
Right.
watching, you never know who's
Well,
listening.
if I had an opportunity for a job, but I'd have to sleep with Rosie O'Donnell, I would turn it down. I'm sorry.
You have to draw a line. There has to be a line.
Whoopi Goldberg, I'd go blind if I ever had to work with her. I can't stand her.
But fortunately, you were in the Trans Am. You were with your cat with a speeding ticket. You got out to L.A.
Yes, I made it to LA.
What was the first job you had out in L.A.?
I was doing some art graphics for a couple of independent graphic companies, things like that, and then I was playing basketball with what's his face, Jonathan Silverman from Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I moved to Marina Del Rey. I'd say, I'm like the worst investor, by the way. If anyone wants to base on real estate or stocks or anything, next,
Go
it's
elsewhere.
like
Go elsewhere.
creatively, yes, but stocks and those, I guess I don't have the patience for it. But so I moved to Marina Del Rey and just started looking around for different things. And then through someone else I knew, they said Lampoon was looking for writers and cartoonists and people to do projects there. And they had moved out from New York when Tim Matheson from Animal House bought the company. He then sold it to Jim Jamero, whose previous experience with adult humor was the Disney Channel. So tell you what that's about. That's like taking porn, giving it to A&E or something. It's just like it was wrong. It did, or Nickelodeon. And so he was trying to sterilize it a little bit. So they wanted to bring in other people. And that's where I met Jamie Kennedy, who's become like a really good friend. And, I didn't know who he was. He was just starting out. I guess he was doing stand up and it was an actor and he was trying to get auditions. But he was super funny and we really connected. So once I started there, they saw that I was very weird and that's to work with them. And I said, this is my dream job. So I started pumping everything I can. I put projects together, books, calendars, trading cards, writing for the magazine, doing cartoons for the magazine, working on any of the comedy tour stuff that they did. Because one of the things I'm proud of in New York is I worked on a book called Comic Lives about stand-up comedy. And I had dinner with Andrew Dice Clay in Ramapo,
Really?
of all places. Yeah. That was when he was still like the Dice Man,
Hey.
Fort Fairlane, I think it just come out. And and he's a typical Dice. He's like, we're ordering dinner, and his wife or whoever was with him, and the waitress comes up, and he goes like, "You call this food? I call it bleeping. My cat is better than I do.
Doing a routine at the restaurant.
Take this crap and go serve it to the chef." It was an interesting meal.
So Jamie Kennedy also wrote at Lampoon.
Yeah, he was with us probably 6 years, and I
Oh,
was there like around 9.
you were there for 9.
Yeah.
Nice. So how did you get involved in because I know that you wrote a couple of screenplays.
I've written a lot of screenplays,
Okay.
but I wrote one for Lampoon at the time, but they were going through more reorganization, and then they finally, when I left, they sold the company to someone, I forgot who. Oh no, before I left, they sold it to a guy I think who ran a Christian magazine. So what does that tell you? Could it get more homogenized than that? Poor Doug Kinney is rolling in his grave, like, you ruined my magazine, my franchise. What is this? I died of jumping off a cliff in Hawaii with Chevy Chase behind me. So, and you're turning National Lampoon into like the Disney Channel or the Cartoon Network. But then I got an opportunity to work at Everybody Loves Raymond, because they were looking for a writer and someone to do a couple episodes based on anime, things like that. Because at the same time I was at Lampoon, I was also drawing for Klasky Supo with Rugrats and some of their other cartoons. And I also got an opportunity to draw at Disney and worked on 101 Dalmatians, the TV show. So yeah, I was multitasking while I was doing that. But my love was still Lampoon. That was like my dream job of dream jobs. And now they with the circumstances of Lampoon, they sold and went out, and then the name just got franchised as like slapping on any crappy movie you wanted.
Yeah.
Perfect example, Gold Diggers, with like Renee, what's her face, married to Joseph Bologna, like that kind of thing. And then John Bon Jovi, another Jersey guy, he did a movie called National Lampoon Pucked. He plays a guy that has to coach a girls' hockey team. I think it was for some kind of, like, he owed money or he got a judgment against him or something. It was his parole. It was his
community service.
Yeah, there's community service. So, but then the guy who bought it wound up serving prison time for extortion and embezzlement, and then moving on. Then someone else recently bought it, and Dana Barron's a really good friend of mine. She was Audrey in the original Vacation. So she hooked me up with the guy who recently bought it, and they want me back, but I haven't seen anything yet of it. But if they ask me back, I am so friggin' there. Sorry, but humor today, as you know, is so homogenized, sedated. Everybody is like so sensitive about everything. And I'm freaking, get over your freaking selves, That's why I like Rock and some of these other comics that don't give a crap of what they say.
Right.
It's like, oh no, it's like, oh, you offended me. You offended a black person. You offended a Jewish person. I'm half Jewish, so offend me. Screw me.
Clever. Be creative.
Yeah, that's what ruins humor or any writing. If you have to feel stifled, your creativity is not going to come out. You're going to be, it's like you're running a football play and you stop in the middle of the field because someone said, oh my gosh, you might run over the defender and hurt it. And then you get tackled and break your leg and have the bone sticking out.
So, I mean, you did all this, and again, it's I go back to never saying no, and developing relationships and not burning bridges, because you never know. Like if you had burned a bridge in National Lampoon, they would not be asking you now to come back.
No, but it's a whole new crew. The other thing is too, you could talk someone in my industry who runs a company. 2 days later, they could be out, and then someone else.
Right.
There's, of course, they're everyone as much as they try to be upfront about everything and sort of respectful. I mean, I have burnt a couple of bridges, but it's because they've been the bad one. It's like they're the ones that are. I will not let someone else hurt someone else. If I see something, I will say something. I did this well, but maybe it's our Jersey thing. Like we speak up about it.
A little
Well,
bit.
unless your name is Tony Tightlips or something, you're not allowed to say.
Yeah, but then you're a snitch.
Yeah, but in other situations, fine, it's fine. I grew up around The Sopranos, so I know.
You end up underneath Giant Stadium.
Yeah, probably. Where with part of Jimmy Hoffa's probably still there. But no, it's so funny because, as I said, I love growing up in Jersey. And I always wondered, my music teacher, because I studied saxophone before I started studying guitar, and my music teacher at school had the richest home in Montvale on a teacher's salary. Like everybody else is in colonials or, sort of split levels. He's got a friggin' mansion up on the hill. And I go like, yeah, where are you getting that? You like run in the Philharmonic or something? His last name, I think, was Virgilio. So that kind of said something.
It's family
But
money.
I think his family were Columbos or something, or Gotti's. I'm not really sure.
So you're doing all this writing, you're doing all this illustrating. I know you've illustrated a couple of children's books.
Yes, a few. One, I worked with a woman from General Hospital, and we did a book. Nancy Lee Grant's her name, illustrated. It was called Bella something, and that was a long time ago. It had the word Bella in it, so I remember that. And then I wound up doing my own books. And I have one which is a collection of all my National Lampoon stuff. That's a very adult book. It's all my cartoons and writing, and that's called Brain Explosion. And that's at Barnes and Noble and on Amazon. And then a children's book out called Bag Boy and Sweet Slob. And it's based on my ex fiance, who's also a Jersey girl. Well, she's a Chicago girl, moved to Jersey, raised her family there, got divorced. Then I met her in LA. We were together 10 years off and on. She broke up, then she came back because she didn't like that I wasn't upset. So I'm like, and I'm going, why did I take her back 3 friggin' times? I'm stupid. And then, you're in love with different parts of your body, one of those things. And so I wound up moving her back to Jersey. Who does that, right? I'm the only one that would say, all right, I'll get in your car, drive you across the country. And I said, are you paying for stuff? She goes like, well, I'll pay for the hotels, but when we get to Jersey, it's like I have to pay my own flight back. So yeah, it was crazy like that. So then I decided, you know what, while we're together, I'm doing a lot of writing a lot of music. So one day we're arguing about, because she's a hoarder. I mean, even to this day, it took probably 10 wardrobes just to get her clothes, and then another 3 or 4 just for her shoes. She found designer wear behind the dresser, and that still had the tags on it. That's how much stuff she had. The movers, when they came, it was so funny. They were like, I don't think we estimated this right. Like, this was in a 2-bedroom apartment. It was like having a 4-bedroom house moved from a 2-bedroom apartment. So I said, and she said, well, you're a bag boy. And I said, what does that mean? It's like, because I'm really into recycling, and everywhere you go, you get like bags, like from conventions, all these signing places, they get things at Comic-Cons. And I'm like good at repurposing. I'm good at Tetris. So I do stuff like that. And she said, well, you know what? Why don't you freaking write a book about it? And I said, all right. And I just sat down, and out came Bag Boy and Sweet Slob. And then I said, someday those bags are going to come in handy. And you know what they did? I used a lot of those bags to put her stuff in before we moved.
Now they're all in her place.
Now she's back in California. She's down near San Diego.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Don't get me started on that. I'm gonna write a book just about her.
So Brain Explosion, if you guys listening or watching, if you're anything like me, growing up, in the 70s, late 70s, mid to late 70s in high school, uh, National Lampoon was like one of those magazines that you got because it had great cartoons, it had great pictures, it had great articles, and you never showed your parents because, when you're 13, 14 years old, you think you're reading X-rated material, which now,
Right, because you had like the funnies, the picture funnies with like
yes,
Andy samples and all like the kind of porn girls of the day, and you put them in like naked pictures and things. We were kind of like our competitors were Mad Magazine
yeah.
and Cream, things like that. So, but I liked it because I think it was more because Mad is great. I know a lot of the guys that work there, but they were all illustrative. We did everything else. We were like the college students' intellectual masturbation magazine, as I call
Well,
it.
if you think about it, I mean, it was Harvard Lampoon's where it got started. So you had a bunch
Yes,
of brainiacs that are putting all this together, and then they come
and
up.
they were brainiac. They were brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they come up with the movie, and the magazine was awesome. So and it's carried on. I mean, I know when you started illustrating. So Brain Explosion is a collection of all your animation or all your
All
illustrations.
my cartoons, comics, all the writings, quips, quotes.
Uh,
That's why it's called Brain Explosion, because I don't get writer's block ever. Unless someone throws a block that says writer on it and hits me in the head. But no, so I thought when I was coming up with a name for the book, I said, that's perfect. And the cover, I did an illustration of Albert Einstein with his head open and just stuff coming
Up
out.
coming out.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see if we can put a couple of images up on the screen here. How did you come by? I mean, I was looking over your resume. How did you come by writing the theme song for the Special Olympics?
Well, even from New York days, I've always been, as I said, the defender of the weak, meek, and disabled. And I have, people that I've been friends with and family who've been disabled in different ways, autism. But when I discovered Special Olympics and dealing with kids with Down syndrome, and when I was in LA, I got to be one of the celebrities at the Special Olympic Games down there in LA. And I said, you know what? These kids are the most amazing people. So I started using them in my TV projects and some of my other stuff. And I said, you know what? My music writing partner at the time was Ben Hammer, who wrote for Doctor Who, and he worked with a friend of mine, June Foray, who's the voice actress. So we said, why don't we write a theme song for Special Olympics and Smith and see what they say? Well, we did, and they loved it, and they recorded it and premiered it at the UCLA, and it got adopted, and the rest is history. It's played at lots of different events and things like that,
Are they still
which
are
is
they
cool.
still using the same theme?
Yeah, and or they'll use the recording. We got a guy from the Bold and Beautiful to do the recording. I think his name was Dover or something like that. I'm not trying to remember his name. I forgot what his name was, but no, he was a nice guy. All right, it was like no
It
problem.
must have been the block that had writer written on it that hit you in the head.
Yeah, well, sometimes if there's a name of someone, like don't ask me about every rapper that's out there. Like they go, "Do you know these new rappers?" I go, "Yeah, Milky Way, um, Three Musketeers. Yeah, those are great rappers."
So listen, if you guys want to know more about Dave, you can go to his website and give me the website.
Well, I'm kind of transitioning the domain right now, but it's normally snuggybear.com. But you can put a link. I think I sent you a link, or I'll send it to you later, and you can post it up there. So
I'll
it's
put it
kind
right
of
underneath
it's
here.
with Wix, yeah, and I'll send you because it's now like psychedelia one slash Wix site slash Snuggy Bear, something like that.
Great. That
Something
was a,
like that. I did remember that.
that was a good marketing change.
Yes, it was.
But you could go to the website and now you on social media too? You on Instagram? Can they find you on Instagram?
Let's see. Well, we'll talk briefly about the other things I'm working on now, but I got kicked off of, what did I get kicked off of? Oh, Twitter, X. And then my character got, because, I get in the face of these politicians and these celebrities are just like completely off the hook on everything, if they're gored. And I'm like, and they can't handle my humor. They can't handle, like, I actually talk back to them.
So they
They're
report.
like, no, they've actually acknowledged me. Say, like Vincent D'Onofrio, for example. Is he a Jersey guy? I don't know. But he didn't like that I was getting in his face about what he's saying about conservatives, because I'm a conservative, which is another reason I'm not in LA anymore. So
You were the one.
yeah, well, no, there's a bunch. Scott Baio's a really good friend of mine. He's a conservative. He moved to Florida. Good for him. So I just said, you know what, I've gotten kicked off that, and then I created this character called Bitchy the Clown, which is basically my alter ego answer to everything that's going on around the world. He's a clown from Kearny, New Jersey, but I spell it Carny instead of K. And lives in a trash can. He does a podcast called Bitching with Bitchy the Clown, and it's become really successful. He like hates everything. He gets interviews. It's really cool. But he's happy now because he's a musician clown. So he just recorded a bunch of singles that I wrote with him. He doesn't want to give me friggin' credit for songs that I wrote for him.
Right.
That's kind of clowny.
He's bitchy. So how can people hear some of Bitchy's songs?
On Bitching with Bitchy.
Okay.
On Spotify.
All right.
You just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a bunch of others. On my website, there's links to it as well. And so besides that, then Bitchy wanted to get into merchandise. He just renovated his trash can. He got a new garbage bag. So he's really excited now. He lives with TC, Top Cat, in the same alley. But because Top Cat moved from New York to Jersey, and there was an open trash can available next to Bitchy, so he gave it. He put in a good word with the landlord. So but the thing is, he's mad because TC's more famous than him, so they gave him a bigger can. I think he has a dumpster, so it's now like a condo. Yeah, it's a dumpster condo for TC and things.
Like a 2-bedroom. Yeah, it's a 2-bedroom dumpster.
He does. It's great. He brings all his cat friends over there. They're feasting all the time. And then he wanted to get into merchandising. So we created this thing called Trash. And it's a cologne that Bitchy created. And the slogan is, it's like, if anyone asks, tell them you're covered in trash. And it's really cool. My girlfriend, Leanna, she and I developed the recipe together, and it's really cool. Women have been wearing it, believe it or not, even out here in West Virginia.
They wear trash.
Yeah, well, the only other thing they have is moonshine perfume and stuff. So there's really. And what do the guys wear? They wear like pepperoni roll smell things or roadkill.
Leave Jersey out of this.
Hey, we got roadkill here too. And so there was that. And then, in fact, 2 of Bitchy's songs got on a soundtrack. Of course, it's the worst friggin' movie ever made. It's called Slice. My friend John in LA referred me to the director, who's a complete asswipe, and I'm not afraid to say that on camera, who screwed us over big time. So it's a spoof of Caddyshack, coincidentally. And what he does is he went around and got cameo. He'd go to conventions like Monster Paloozas and Comic Cons, and somehow he got Robbie Krieger to do a cameo in it. So he goes around to all these other actors and rock stars and goes, "Hey, Robbie Krieger's in it. Will you do a quick shout?" And he takes his cell phone, and it's supposed to be about a killer with a big giant golf ball head who goes around, kills people on the golf course. And I know, but it's bad. And then he throws in naked women like as an insert. Has nothing to do with this. It'd be like if Uncle Floyd, who I know you love, and Uncle Floyd, that's my wish list. You got to arrange this. I got to go meet Uncle Floyd. To just insert it into the movie like a picture. And they're just dancing around, nothing to do with any. And then they do the filming at the convention, even though they're supposed to be at a golf course. So none of them makes friggin' sense. But we got 2 of Bitchy's songs in the soundtrack. And Bitchy on one of his podcasts said, and he sounds like this: "I'm Bitchy the Clown. And oh, you got it. But I curse a lot, so it's going to be hard for me to keep this clean today. But yeah, I got 2 songs on this horrible soundtrack with this asshole that runs the movies and screwed us over. You know what? With my reputation, that's still a step up."
Thank you, Bitchy.
Oh, go to hell.
All right, so we're going to make sure that everybody checks out Bitchy the Clown. You can hear the podcast on Spotify, Apple, Google, anywhere you hear your podcasts.
Yeah, all of those podcast stuffs. And then I have another thing that I created, and it's all since I've been here in West Virginia. Although Bitchy started in LA, I was on NBC Radio for a while with a guy from the Howard Stern show that I had to sue and go take him to people's court, and because he didn't pay me, but that's a whole nother thing. I had to put a restraining order out on that guy. So, but Bitchy started on that show, and then he got on a TV show called Backcam, where he went up against these psycho people. A guy named Alki David from Greece or something. Their family's super wealthy. He's a deviant, so he started this network so he can get all deviant people on the internet to stream. And he bought a network to put it on regular TV, and he would host from Beverly Hills in a studio, and he'd have all the deviant actors there, like Janice Dickinson and Andy Dick and all of those guys. And they invited Bitchy to also be there, and he battled people. And for every minute that people voted in to keep someone on, he'd pay them. It'd be like getting someone to eat crap, from a pile if you paid them. And he found enough people to do that.
Yeah, it'll give you another $1 if you have another spoonful.
Yeah, or if some chick shakes her boobs naked on the camera and things. So
give you another $1.
Yeah, typically it was like perfect for Bitchy. But then I created this thing called Cemetery Go-Go, which is really cool. It's kind of a horror version of Dr. Demento for your fan, Dr. Demento, Dr. Demento show. And he's basically run by the Groovy Grave Creepers, a character created, and it's syndicated now around the country. There's links on my website to that. It's on stations like in New York and Maryland and here in West Virginia and in Ohio. And it's an hour show it's running 7:00 in Ohio on one station Thursday, but the rest of the time it's either 11 p.m. or midnight Eastern time. And there's links to it. And it's great. We play old music. We play new music, everything from like Peppermint Rainbow to psychedelia to metal, Ozzy, weird cult songs. And then we play commercials and like old commercials and movie trailers. And then the Groovy Grave Creeper makes up his own letters, like from the monsters. Like he'll get a letter from the creature from the Black Lagoon that he's running out of food or something, and like what he can do. And then he makes up stories.
All right, we'll put the link to that as well. And I mean, your list just goes on and on. You coached the Lakers and the Clippers under Mike Dunleavy. How did that ever happen?
It was with the Lakers. Well, I was really good at sports before my knees, although you wouldn't look at it to know that I was good at sports. But I was playing basketball with some people in a celebrity game, and someone said, you really know the fundamentals, because I grew up around basketball in New Jersey. So I played basketball with Jackson 5 when I was 11.
Really?
So in Montvale, because there was a hotel and there was an amphitheater that they constructed nearby, I think in Pearl River or Nanuet or something. So they stayed at this hotel, and I lived in the apartments right behind there. So I would play basketball. One day, all of these black people started showing up. There was one white person, and that was their manager or something. And he was going, yes, Michael, yes, Michael. So they asked if they can shoot with me, and I started shooting with them, and I was playing basketball with the Jackson. They asked, do you know who we are? And I say, yeah, I think you're black. No,
I love that.
I said you're probably in the entertainment business, because that's who stays at the hotel. So we're in 5, and I said, oh, I just bought your 45. I think it's like I Want You Back or something. And they said they're playing the arena, and they asked if I wanted to go, and I said, "Oh, I'd love to, but my father's racist, so I'd have to run away." And
No,
um,
you didn't say that.
I did. I swear to God, because he was. And but unfortunately, you're 11. I didn't get to go to see them. Same with Woodstock. I should have run away to Woodstock. I could have been adopted by Janis Joplin. Maybe I could have saved her. You never know. Or Jimi Hendrix. That would have been so cool to save.
You should have gone up to Bethel instead of Hackensack.
That's right.
Now you're in West Virginia, and now you're running for office. So how long have you been in West Virginia?
4 years now.
4 years. So
And I loved. I came out originally for a writing gig because after I moved my girlfriend back to Jersey, when I went back, I said, why am I paying all this money for an apartment? I had placed a couple of projects already. I had my stuff there. There was really nothing going on at the time. Otherwise, I said I can do my work from anywhere. And the crime was getting worse. Between the politics, the traffic was like the worst I've ever seen it. I said, you know what, I'm just going to go back to my roots and try to find a temporary writing job. So I applied around the country, got some decent offers, but some of them were in areas I didn't want to move to. And I knew some people from West Virginia. So I got an opportunity to work for a newspaper here on the 3-month assignment. So I put my stuff in storage, moved out here. And after it was over, I got all my stuff, moved out here. I fell in love with the place. It's right along the Ohio River. It's cool. There's some other people from Jersey here. Believe it or not.
Relocation program?
There's a guy who was a driver for the mob actually from Hackensack who moved here with his wife from Mississippi.
Yeah, it's a relocation program.
Yeah. And he's not a very nice person. So I go, well, you obviously were a failure as a driver because all your all your wise guys survived. And I'm going like, no, you're not a successful driver. And then he dealt drugs for them and things like that. Oh, so you moved to one of the biggest Christian areas in America. He's converted though.
Is he?
Yeah, now he only pisses off half of the people here, not all of them.
So tell me what
the guy who ran the paper that here, he was like a slumlord from upstate New York. He bought a hotel here that was on the registry, and he has like slummed all these buildings here. If I win this election, which is for the House seat here in West Virginia, believe me, there's going to be so much. This town is dying. It's like so hard to keep anybody here. So people were asking you do things. You wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is not eat a donut. So I'm like, okay, well, that's a good start. And, you don't go to Walmart and stock yourself with soda and chips and things like that. I eat pretty healthy. Like you wouldn't know it, but I'm 105.
You look great.
It's a river.
You don't look a day over 80.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thanks. And then when I was out here, I started thinking, I love Jersey. I grew up in it, and it's sad what it's become. And so I started writing scripts about it. I wrote a film for Marilyn Gigliotti from Clerks, who's a really good friend of mine I met in LA, which is it's called Out of Jersey. I wrote a song called The Jersey Cool Is Gone, which is my reaction to Springsteen, what he became, and Christie and everything with Jersey Shore and the house bitches of Jersey and things like that. So it's a really cool song. And I wanting to get it to Southside Johnny. If you know him, tell him I got a song for him.
All right.
Or anybody, all your Jersey listeners, if there's a band that's looking for an original song that I think will blow up, it's kind of in the style of Splash and all of these kind of cool Jersey bands, things like that. And it has a kind of Southside or Springsteen edge to it.
All right.
Hey, let's talk. I'll get it to you. I got a demo. I know a demo.
Yeah, I got a guy.
Right. And then I wrote a film about growing up in Montvale, which is called Exit 172. For all the Jersey people know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's about me wanting to study music when I'm in junior high.
Oh,
and
okay.
that's cool.
Nice. Yeah, and I know you won a couple of awards as a screenwriter. You are the quintessential Renaissance man.
Oh, I've never been to a Renaissance fair. Sorry. No,
That's now you got to do that. You got to put that on your resume.
no, I actually have been to a Renaissance fair. No, I appreciate that. I think it's more out of just the survival necessity. And I'm always a perfectionist. Like, so many people can do so many things, and they always say it's better to do one thing good than 100 things bad.
Right.
I just think that everything I focus on, whether it's my music or my writing or cartooning, and maybe I've been blessed with the ability, there's a lot of people that reject me. They're going like, and then I look at the stuff they do and it sucks. And then they come back to me and go, hey, we should have invested in your stuff. I'm saying, well, it's, but and it's like I become my idol literally is Edgar Allan Poe. And if anyone knows anything about his life, he had some successes, but he was basically miserable. He had a hard time. He got evicted, things like that. He wasn't famous really until like he died. And I go to my girlfriend. I said, if anything happens to me, make sure I become legendary. So,
Well, hopefully this podcast will get you on that right track.
you are the ultimate. If I succeed on your podcast, then I know I've made it. It's like this podcast or a crossword puzzle clue. It's like you made it when you do that.
Well, see now
I
this last question.
appreciate being on here.
This last question before we sign off. This could actually be in a crossword puzzle. I would say, let me just count this for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The 11-letter word for a descendant of Vlad the Impaler. Dave Shelton.
What is that?
It's you.
Here I'm thinking of something like, Stakula Matsanasa or
No,
something.
I saw that in your resume. How far back does that go?
Well, Vlad was what, the 1400s, 1600s.
And you've been able to
Back
track
that far.
that?
He got around. He didn't just put heads of enemies on spikes. No, we were a direct ancestor from him, and I'm proud of it. That's why I post it everywhere. A lot of my family don't disown it. They're not very proud. They don't want to like acknowledge it. But then there's some of my other relatives are like, hey, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
when we go out at night, that's when we feel more comfortable.
yeah, I have a feel. I have a feeling the genetics have kind of worn out over the last 600 years.
Oh, I don't know. I burn easily, so I do have to
Like garlic. You stay away from Italian food.
Yes, absolutely. No, but that's what I miss. It's like, I keep telling, like my girlfriend and I went to Washington, D.C. recently for kind of a political thing, but also she's never been out anywhere. And I went looking for the perfect bagel and a perfect slice of pizza. We found some bagel places out there, but nothing like Jersey. I miss Jersey pizza, Jersey bagels, all that. And then my aunt, like she's from New York, and she moved to Jersey and raised all my cousins out there. She's going, well, yeah, she's like 85 now. No, it's New York. They're the ones with the best friggin' bagels. And so I'm like, yeah, you lived like what, half your life in Jersey? I never see you go into the city to go get bagels and bring them across the bridge. Not at like $20 just to get over. What's with that? That's the other reason the Jersey Cool is gone. You have like, what, $300 you need to work a week just to cross the bridge back and forth or go through the tunnel.
Yeah, it's getting bad. It's getting bad. Well, listen, I wish you all the success running for office at the election.
Thank you.
I will post after the election. We'll post and see how you did.
Well, I'm working on donation now. I'm working. So I need to pay for lawn signs. The thing out here is people are so apathetic; they don't even know who's running, and they're so old.
Unless they're on a lawn
I guess if I mentioned my name was Ray Morano, I might make it.
Yeah, unless you have a lawn sign, they won't know you. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely. No, nobody reads the paper. I have a comic strip that is in a West Virginia paper called The Local Yokels that I do with a writer friend here. And it's kind of life in this part of the country. and it's in WV Central, and they distribute all over the world, but it's located from here, and it's a slice of life. But you know what? Advertisements out, things, events in the paper, online, on radio, things like that. Then they come up to me and go, "Hey, how come I didn't know about that event?" And I said, "Well, do you read the paper? No. Do you go online? No. Do you read? No. Do you listen to the radio? No. What do you do? Oh, I masturbate with my old lady." I said, "Oh, that's a scary situation right there." So no one does it. It's like, that's the sad part of this area. So I'm trying to motivate them to do something and to keep young people here.
Yeah. Well, I wish you the best. And listen, make sure you guys check out Brain Explosion. The children's books, we're going to put those up. It's available on Amazon, available at Barnes and Noble, and check out his website. And listen, anytime you're out in Jersey again, bagels on me.
Oh, that is so good. You had me at bagel. I don't care about the on me part. The bagel part was good. And then as I said, they can also find me on IMDb, the website, some of the things I'm working on, or Facebook. I do have one Facebook page that I haven't been thrown out of, and neither is Bitchy. So go to Dave Shelton on Facebook.
Dave Shelton on Facebook. Does Bitchy have his own Facebook page?
No, he got thrown off too. No, he doesn't care. That's the whole thing about Bitchy. He doesn't give a crap. In fact, it's his slogan is, "I'm bitchy, what's your excuse?" And I don't give a crap. And he's got two little sidekicks that he's going to do for his TV show. One's called Jack Off, which is a Jack in the Box clown, and then the other is what was his other friend's name? Crap Face, which is a clown doll. He's awesome. I love Bitchy.
All right, so check Bitchy out. Check out the books. Check out the children's books, and keep an eye on
the radio show and things like that. And the radio show.
Yeah, you got a lot going on.
Nonstop.
Well, I wish,
but it's worth it, and I appreciate you asking me on. You know, you're my first Jersey podcast, by the way.
That's all you need.
Yeah, forget about it. You know, people still say, "Oh, we hear you say things from Jersey every once in a while," like the way my words come out.
Yeah.
But I said, I don't want to lose that. All right. I'm keeping it really clean for you.
No, I appreciate it. Well,
you know, I don't want to turn off your Christian audience and your Lutherans and
Episcopalians,
and we have 13 churches out here in Sistersville where I live.
Really?
There's only 1,000 people. It's like, you know, and the thing is, really fast, and my last thing, it's like, with all the things that go on and people, you know, and I say trying to help people do nice things, I have never seen, there's so many nice people out here, but there's also so much judgment that goes on between each of the denominations here. So, you know, come on, you're human, forget about it, all right? It
happens everywhere.
Along with your friggin', or your neighbor's going to come friggin' for you.
Well, listen, I'm going to sign off. Don't go away. Thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. It was awesome. I'm noticing the books behind you too. Why aren't there any lampoons behind you?
Because I'm sitting in my daughter's bedroom.
Oh, that's no excuse. Get her some. When I was a kid, we used to go to. Very nice. My barber was in Hillsdale, and when I was a kid, he used to go there and give us Playboys when we're like 10 years old to read while we're getting our haircut. He said there's either him or, you know, someone you don't want to be around, like some deviant on the corner of Park Ridge or something. But but thanks, man.
All right, listen, everybody. Check out the website. So I'm going to put the website up. Check out Bitchy the Clown. Check out Dave Shelton on Facebook. You could follow him there. And I highly recommend, if you liked the Lampoon illustrations and the writing, and it's just, I always enjoyed it. Check out Brain Explosion. It's in Barnes and Noble. If you want to just go and peruse it before you buy it, or just buy it on Amazon. Save yourself the trouble. All right, everybody, be well.
I used to think are gone. Lost the rhythm of the Main Street song, and I'm afraid of never coming back. Lost to the gods and attack of the Jersey soul. Oh, gods are taking its toll. I'm crying for the early days and how they've gone away. Jimmy and Danny were the neighborhood kings. They didn't need to try, it was the way they ran things. The diner on a Friday night, playing music till the morning light. We saluted the American flag. No one treated like a dirty rag. The people from around the world looked to Jersey for the final word. Confident that we once had it, lost to the changing rules, and created society's force. Confident that we once had it, lost to the changing rules, and created society's force. I'm not sure if the world will see if Jersey can be the way it used to be, or if it's just some ancient pride from a time that I should hide inside. But that's not the way we are. You can only push a guy from Jersey so far. You can take us out of Jersey town, but you can't take it out of me. Till the end, and when I die, I will always feel the same. Wear my jersey to the final game. Till the end, and when I die, I will always feel the same. Wear my jersey to the final game.